Good morning. What's going on? It's Tuesday. The last race of the season is over, isn't it? Taking my lovely dog Jeff for a walk in the park, and it's nice out, isn't it? Oh, he's doing a poo. I'm gonna have to pick that up. So when I had a funny end to the season, didn't I? I was flying at Bands Hatch GP. Everything was going so well. Set a really good PB, and then we went to Spa and we did the 6-hour endurance, and we went to Alton Park, did endurance, and then coming back to Donington, I was like, cool, man, I am going to be set a PB. I'm going to get into this. Should have a good race for the front. And I just couldn't get near anybody really. I know that's Jeff with his new playmate. I know I got a podium in the final race, but as I said, in that race it's through attrition, whereas at Brands GP I got my podium through good pace. And then Brands Indy, last race of the season, I was like level on points with Nicky Wilson, feeling good. It just went to shit really, didn't it? I got really unlucky in the wet race. I had a dodgy tyre, made a bad decision in qualifying, that's on me. But in both dry races, I was getting slaughtered onto the start-finish straight. And good old Jack Crouch, chatting with him afterwards, he's like, yeah mate, I was just reeling you in there. And I'm like, what do I have to do? I changed my gearing, I got the setup right, I had the throttle pinned wide open, and I was just being destroyed. And then you watch your videos and you look at stuff and you have time to think, and you reflect and you think a bit more. And I'm like, the traction control is holding me back, because you can see, I'll show you in the video, or I might have shown it in the last video, the traction control light is on. Way through the corner and start finish straight. And then I thought, at Donington, where everything's going wrong, where did Richie Thornton overtake me? Onto the back straight. And it's a very similar situation where you come onto a right hand corner and you're on the gas while you're cornering, and the bike needs to drift. That's just how you get around those corners. But I was being destroyed by Richie there, and other riders were pulling away from me. And then the penny starts to drop. When I was in Spa, on the practice days, I was running old tyres and scrub tyres. And there's a section at the back of that track where it's 6th gear, pinned, cornering, and the back of my bike was so loose and I was definitely losing time. So I increased the slide control and it gave me time back. And I was like, cool, that's obviously a setting I should be using. And I left it on for the race, even though I put new tyres on for the race and my lap times were better, so I didn't think anything of it. And the thing with the traction control and the side control on the Ducati is so really, really good, so good. You can't really feel it coming in. You might feel a lack of throttle response where, you're opening it and you're not getting any more throttle and you see the yellow light, but it's super smooth. And it's predictive as well. I feel, it knows what's going on. It's got it knows when the bike's leaning and you're asking for throttle. It's very, very clever, isn't it? But I think with new tyres, which have got the grip, you need to let them do their thing. And I think I've cost myself a load of time out there. And, I'm learning the bikes this season. It's the first time I've raced them. And didn't really understand the slide control. It's quite a complicated thing because it also works on corner entry. So if you're going into a corner and you're on the front brake and then you hammer the rear brake and the back end starts coming round, it allows a bit of slip angle before it starts activating the ABS to stop the bike from going out too far. So not only does it act on corner entry, but then it works with ABS, it then also works on corner exit and works with the traction control. And so a lot of the time I've been kind of complaining about the bike, the traction control being too intrusive, even in its lowest setting, and you just live with it. And I've done some PBs, so I'm like, it is what it is. But after that race, I was like, that traction control is too intrusive now. What's the next step? How do I improve things? And pretty sure the only thing you can do is go to Motec, which you're probably looking at about 6 or 7 grand, or Magneti Marelli, which is 17 grand plus you need technicians. And it's like, I've just been sitting on it, sleeping on it, and I've spoken to a few people here and there, and when I look at my videos, I can see my slide control is set to level 2, the most intrusive, and it's always when the bike goes to slide, it comes in. It's not traction, it's slide. So I'm busting to get back on track, ideally Brands Hatch, because I've got the bike all set up for there. I know where the issue is. I play the slide control and see where that gets us. So I'm quite excited by that, but frustrated. But again, this is why you play around with your bikes, isn't it? That's why you play around with all the settings, why you change the ride height, why you change springs. You learn and you understand what they do, and then you take notes, and next race you can go and adjust that. And I've learned about engine brake, I've learned about the power outputs of the engines, and wheelie control and slide control. Wheelie control doesn't really do anything. The bike doesn't wheelie. It is the chassis geometry and the wings, they're so good. Even at Alton Park in 5 laps, it only came on for a blink of an eye. But we're learning, and I really want to get out again and test that slide control, play around with that, spend 2 or 3 sessions at least just playing with it to understand it. And then maybe when I'm on a track day with a really worn rear tyre, put the slide control up if you want to just do some neat lines, and if you want to have a play, turn it off and let the bike do its thing. So super pumped to give that a shot. See you later. Hope you all have a great off season with whatever you do.